Hey there everybody, Phil here for AndroidCentral.com. We are here with 3 Samsung phones that we have laying around the office, and let's walk through them. There's the Infuse 4G, the new Galaxy S2 on AT&T, and the Epic 4G Touch on Sprint, which is Sprint's Galaxy S2 phone. Let's get rid of that one for a second and look at the Infuse in the Galaxy S2. So the Infuse is larger. It is 4.5 inches. This is the one that came out earlier this year. The new Galaxy S2 is a little bit smaller, not much, 4.3 inches, which is still plenty big, but it is noticeably smaller here. Speed-wise, the Galaxy S2 is definitely faster. It just has a different feel. As you see, scrolling through the home screens is smoother. It's not that it's slow on the Infuse, it's just a little more choppy. You don't get quite the same animation. Same thing going through the app drawers. It's just smoother on the Galaxy S2 phones. Not a huge surprise, you know, more RAM and a faster processor and system on a chip will do that. As well as a smaller screen. But, not a huge difference, and I know that's going to be a big question for you guys and whether you want to upgrade to this. Looking at them side by side, the new Galaxy S2 is just a tad thinner than the Infuse 4G, but they both have the little reverse chin down here on the bottom. They actually have very much kind of the same feel to them, a little more blocky than the Epic 4G Touch. There's the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack up top. Volume rockers about in the same spot. Micro USB down on the bottom. And that's, very familiar. Just a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, a little bit faster. Let's get them both turned back on and maybe look at the home screens a little more. They both have a Super AMOLED Plus display, which looks beautiful on either one. And they both also have the same resolution despite the Epic being larger. So we'll get back in the middle here. And you can see, I think Sprint's done a much nicer job with the weather and the clock versus what AT&T has. It's just more sterile and not as beautiful, not as bright. You've got the voice dial stuff up there, or Facebook widget here on the next one over. You've got AP Mobile, a very useful widget on Sprints, and then AT&T featured apps there and more AT&T apps. And okay, I think Sprint wins that round as well. Blank home screens, although AT&T does the nice thing and puts the little label that says, hey, this thing's blank, here's how you put stuff on it. So go one more over and they look a little more familiar, but then you have your weather widget finally on AT&T and the calendar widget on Sprints and whatever. I think Sprint did a nicer job. Let's look at some of the apps AT&T has on here, and we'll zoom in just a tiny little bit. AT&T All Share, Amazon Kindle, and so you can go forwards and back, same as all the others. TouchWiz does that nicely. AT&T Code Scanner, great, okay. Family Map. My AT&T, what else? You've got a Media Hub, you've got Keys Air. So nothing really out of the ordinary. Quick Light. So Quick is on here by default. It's actually one of the accounts that you can sign into when you go to the account settings. You see Words with Friends is on here by default as well. So I guess they haven't totally loaded up with bloatware. It's just I'm kind of disappointed in the home screens. I think AT&T could have done a better job. You can still customize the app drawer. That is very important, I think. And again, I raved on this with the Sprint version. Samsung's done a really nice job as far as that goes, and as far as adding widgets to the home screen, how you get them listed down here on the bottom. Very well done. Impressed, happy. It's just the home screens are disappointing me, and that shouldn't bother me so much because you can, change things all you want, but it does. Side by side here with the Epic, it's just a tad thinner than the Epic. That's not surprising. As thin as it is, the Epic still has a 4G radio in it. WiMAX radio, a real 4G radio, so that adds a tiny bit of thickness. Otherwise, it's about the same volume rockers, power buttons, almost in the same spot, not quite. Not sure why AT&T did it a little differently. I'd be curious to know. I wonder if it's something internally that made it do that. Take the battery cover off, and it's thin and flimsy just like all the others. You've got a 1650 milliamp hour battery that says near field communication on it. So yes, this does have NFC, and I can't wait to play with that more. Pop the battery cover back on. It's pretty easy to do. So there you go, a very quick look at the new AT&T version of the Samsung Galaxy S2. We'll see you later.